Okay, so this was supposed to be like a 1K special type thing, but that milestone for the channel happened right before my finals week. So it didn't happen then, and then life's just been busy since. But I wanted to do just kind of an update on all the vehicles that have been on the channel, just show where they've been or what happened to them and whatnot. And I'm just going to do it in order of when they showed up on the channel, and then up at the top of the video, there will be little doodads that pop up referencing whatever video or playlist said vehicle was in. So first one we're going to start off with is pretty much been the common thread between, you know, all the videos on, well, been pretty much the common thread of the channel. And that is this 1968 GMC. It was my senior year of high school that we started to put this thing back together. This was my dad's truck that he actually had in high school. And then he took it apart to redo it, and life happened, and it didn't get put back together until a couple years ago. So, you can see that it started off pretty much just the cab on the frame. There wasn't a whole lot there. And it had the 350 short block in it that would become the BD 350 that hasn't showed up yet, that is hanging out right there. And so we got the truck back together, and then it's been just a project ever since. So it's a 68 model, has a 67 wood bed on it. I'm not going to go in a lot of detail on everything that's been done with this one, just because there's already so many videos on it. And it has a Vortec 350 with the factory Vortec fuel injection and a 4L60E. Pretty much all the stock stuff from the donor vehicle, which was a 99 Tahoe. So that pretty much is this thing in a nutshell. Pretty much anything that's happened on this has already had a video on it, so we're just going to move right on to the next one. This thing's still being driven. Got painted by a crackhead, and other than that, nothing's really happened to it. Just gets daily driven now.
Well, the video with all the smoke burning off here, I think the end is good.
That's what the people want to see. Alright, so the next car that showed up was this 1983 Datsun that I was pretty excited about when I got, just because I love the body style of these cars, especially the 240s, but nobody, you know, can reasonably afford a 240 because everybody wants a ton of money for them, so this was the next best thing. And pretty much I got in over my head with it just because the Nissan drivetrain really isn't user-friendly. But that'll all be in another video whenever this car actually starts going somewhere, because I got plans for it. Because I tried getting rid of it and nobody wanted it. You know, go figure. Can't imagine why. So I'm stuck with it. I'm going to try and make the best of it. Currently, it is sporting nothing, because I've had it with the original motor. Couldn't get parts for it. It's hard to work on. I mean, it would have taken probably another $1,500 to $2,000 to sort out that motor and transmission on top of what I'd already put into it. And then I'm going to do all that work for 150 horsepower and 160 foot-pounds of torque. And I still can't get parts for it. You know, I could get an oil filter, and that was the only thing that wasn't special ordered. So, whatever. That's the deal with this thing. It's not going away. I plan on doing a V8 swap with it. And I have a T56 that I'm going to put in it. When that's going to happen, I have absolutely no idea. Certainly not within the next year. But until then, it's just going to be hanging out here. Alright, so this is that 87 300Z that my dad and I actually went and got 2 years ago, I think. We used the 68 to go get it because the Silverado was having some transmission issues at the time. And well, the 68 had some transmission issues on that trip too, but that'll be a future deal. And so this car was pretty rough whenever my dad first got it, and it's real dirty and dusty right now, but it's a super, super pretty color. If it's a low light situation, it looks almost black, but then when you get it out in the light, it turns into this blue, and it's just a real pretty color. It has a little bit of metal flake in it. And so my dad painted this here at our house. And I don't know how many miles have been put on it, but it's had various bits of work done to it. Evidently that's not the key for it. But not a whole lot's happened with it other than paint and then just going through all of the hoses and the general, wear items, spark plugs. It didn't really break down. It had the ignition module go out, but after the motor shut off, it started back up and it got the rest of the way home. But it looks good. So it's just been hanging out. It drives good, and it's just another daily driver.
I do drugs, so I can paint harder, so I can do more drugs.
We got some Dutch angle to nerve people. Yeah, I got a little Dutch angle, because this one kind of sucks, so little. We got to make things eerie, too. We got to keep the Dutch angle and go for eerie. Okay. Well, that's eerie. People like darkness. Here lies the MG. A sad thing. Disassembled by a crackhead before its time. Crackhead who thought he knew what he was doing when he took it apart, and yet here she lies. Crackhead has been fired, but car is still destroyed. This is the fate you never want to see in your automobiles. A fate worse than crushing. Sad fate. It'd take about 2 days to get it back together. Probably. I mean, it just needs a little bit of welding, some primer, and we just put the motor back in it.
This fire strip's been holding this panel on for 2 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not our fault, though.
Pretty horrible. Woo! We're doing crazy Dutch angles. You gotta ask me questions like the talking heads and whatever.
Nathan, how was the motor rebuilt?
That was already in a video.
But we didn't explain what happened at all.
We didn't?
No. It was just a time lapse of it going together and starting it.
My gosh.
Because that's how long ago it was.
Well, the motor's a 351 Windsor. Factory Windsor. And it got KB pistons, flat top pistons. It got bored 30 over, crank got turned. It got a bigger Edelbrock camshaft. It got exhaust, a full 2.5-inch exhaust, and headers that you can't see because it's tight in here. It got an intake and a carburetor and then a little bit of dress up. Other than that, it's stock. I got a new alternator since then and an electric fan. Electric, yeah. I don't know if anyone's seen the disc brakes. Did it have disc brakes when we viewed?
No.
Okay.
Just put the motor in it.
It got power disc brakes. It also got a brand new AOD transmission. Yay.
Which means what?
AOD. It means it's overdrive. Automatic overdrive. I'm crooked. And aside from the AOD, it got... Well, right now it has the drag racing tires on there. It also got a brand new third member with 373 gears. Oh man, you can't even see that. And track bars that it doesn't really need.
No, that's fine. They look cool.
And new drag racing shocks so that it's hopefully will hook up better. I didn't have a problem hooking up the other night. Also, no RPM, so, you know, whatever. That's this thing's excitement. The Vega's still here. Still sits. Still waits. It's got too much rust to really fix. Well, I mean, fix extensive rust would take forever, because it's all in the roof, and it's in the floors, and it's in the trunk, and it's
in the A-pillar.
And it's in the A-pillar,
Probably
and
the
it's in the B-pillar, and it's in the floor, and it's in the trunk lid, and it's in all the fenders, and it's in the doors, and it's in the rocker panels. It's probably in the frame. So, unfortunately, it has a lot of rust.
And I got offended by that just a little bit.
By the rust?
Oh, by us saying it was rusty.
Oh, it's fucking rusty, dude. Oh no, we're demonetized. No, it's so rusty. It's hard to tell from the video how shit this is, but it's not good. And so I know everyone was offended that we just went and started the trashy 6-cylinder that we thought was locked up without any preparation. But seriously, this would take years. Years and years and years, because it is absolutely everywhere. And yeah, somebody shot it, I guess. That's interesting.
Oh, the hood's strapped down. We can't.
Well, that's
You
good.
can open it forward.
Oh, good. Motor's still here.
Carb's still covered up.
Yeah. Everything's still good on it. It's just this project, man, would take so long that I don't know that we'll ever really do anything with the car. I mean, picked up for nothing and just sitting here. I mean, it would take forever to restore, and even if we did restore it, we sure as hell wouldn't be keeping the inline 6. We'd put something actually interesting in there.
Yeah.
My money's on 383, but you know.
People got hurt because I assume they thought that the carb cleaner was going to detonate and hurt the poor stuck ring 7-to-1 compression inline 6. But
yeah, well, that inline 6 would have never stayed in the car. If we cared about it, we would have started it right, but I mean, who cares? The motor's coming out regardless, and we figured there's no way it'd run.
Somebody else already messed with it, so we assumed it was.
So, you know. And this is the crappiest car ever, and if you value it that much, come and pick it up. My address is... Did a whole bunch of work and has a nice new interior, nice paint job, very fancy. New SS gauges, which are very exciting. You get a tack, some bolts,
cosmetics, nail product,
and a nice shiny interior. The car's done up to look like Bobby Allison's race car, obviously. Little bit of changes. 402 instead of whatever the hell his had. And then all sorts of exciting racing stickers. Yeah, a little bit of body work. Well, a lot of body work and a lot of paint. And it's a little dirty right now, just having sat in the shop for so long. But engine's a little dusty now too, but somewhat more clean. We had some very exciting brake shenanigans caused by that right there, which I wish I would have videoed. Looked like the car was catching on fire trying to drive it. Smoke pouring off all wheels. It's pretty exciting stuff. Runs like a peach though. Hasn't started in about probably about 5 days. Give the gas a good pump. There you go. pretty pro. Yeah, like I said, unfortunately, didn't make a video or take a single picture of the restoration process, which was unfortunate because I'm sure that would have been interesting to see. It was certainly interesting to do. So, there you go. That is our middle of nowhere field Monte Carlo. The Challenger has been painted since it was last seen doing rolling burnouts in the parking lot. Still has the tires that still have the tear from the rolling burnout. Yeah. But it is now painted and in the process of getting all buffed out. All of the inside now has new floor pans. All the rust has been cut out of it. It's pretty much ready to get put back together as soon as the buffing's done, and then she'll be a complete car again, and she'll stay here regardless. So, not much has changed other than a whole hell of a lot of green. They've already seen this. 440.
Oh, the battery was left hooked up.
Oh, damn. Wonder if it'll start. Let's see if it'll start. First start in 2 weeks video. Oh, the gas few touches. That'll probably be fine. Yeah. This thing is too good to be here. Oh, my lord. That's a long way down without a seat in there. Alright. Which one's next? Yeah. Well, because this is where you get to know you. We get to know you. We live in Texas. How do you know? Because of the beads of perspiration on everyone's foreheads, because it's hot and it's June. This is the one that last was seen with the horrible, ugly 350 that didn't want to run and was full of sludge. Now is freshly rebuilt with, that's a 72 350 block, Vortec heads, intake, still kind of a dog, but she gets the job done.
This 350 that Nathan picked up was a pretty cool deal. It came out of a 72 Chevy truck, and it's a factory 4-bolt main block. And the motor had already been rebuilt once because there's a tag down by the starter that says the company that rebuilt it, and it was like in the 80s or something like that it was rebuilt. And despite having been rebuilt, the motor was fairly wore out. You can see from the cylinder bores that there's absolutely no cross-hatching left in it, and from the previous owner who we bought the motor from, the guy did say that it smoked. But the guy wanted it gone, so he sold it for next to nothing, but it was pretty incredible just how clean the inside of this motor was. This is before we did anything to it, and we just popped the heads and the intake off of it, and there was no sludge anywhere in this motor. So whoever used this thing took really good care of it, and honestly would not be the slightest bit surprised if it had 400,000 miles on it. Only issue we found was this piston that had a broken piston ring. So we obviously replaced all the pistons, got a new cam in it, and put the Vortec heads on it as previously stated, and then we broke it in on the stand, and knock on wood, haven't had any issues with it.
And this truck is now a driver, registered and everything.
His name's Willard.
It is. It's named Big Willie. Interior's still the same. She's still... Well, no, I put carpet in it. It's not exactly the same. All the gross stuff is out of it. Carpet's clean. The interior's clean, which is something. I put a toolbox in the bed for when she inevitably breaks down, which hasn't happened yet somehow.
Most reliable carburetor.
Yeah, it's got a pretty good carburetor. runs nice. That's just a GM starter, dude. That's how they all are. Exhaust sounds terrible too.
A lot of fans.
There you go. It's the Big Willard, the Silverado. Still around. Now it's got some belt squeak, which is interesting. Yeah. Burnout Cornet, the $14,000 race car, still sits.
Bought for $1,400.
Yeah. Eventually, the motor that lives in this turd wrecked into a light pole turd is going to go into that Cornet all the way over there. Much more desirable 1968 Cornet. And then, I don't know, hopefully someone who will actually care about this thing will buy it, but that's not us.
Well, the Jubilee, faithful as ever, started right up. And I'm going to use it to move the Datsun inside, because there's no way I can push it through the rock.
The 250's doing a lot better. Don't think it's gained any compression, but it's still here. Trying to sell it right now, but we don't want to sell it to anyone who's just going to rip the 292 out and put a 302 in it. Just because that would be depressing as all hell. But we want it to go to someone who will really care about it. Oh no, the keys aren't in it. Trevor, give me the keys. I don't know. It wasn't me though. The keys are gone, so we can't just fire it right up. But it runs good and it drives good. Third gear is elusive at times. You kind of got to double clutch it to get it in there. So if anybody wants this turd and will keep the motor, I mean rebuild it obviously, but keep the motor original, then should hit us up, because we'd like it to go to someone who really, really cares about it and wants to keep it, well, I was going to say pristine, but it's not pristine, but wants to keep it at least somewhat original. Just because somebody rips it out and puts a 302 and a C4 in it, that would be about the most depressing outcome for this poor truck. Okay, she'll probably start now. Got fantastic oil pressure and actually runs okay for being down on so many cylinders, but there you go, F250. So here's the first bit of buffing done. Shined it up pretty good compared to what it was. So hopefully that level of shine will look pretty good with the patina there. We'll see how it turns out. So for everyone who was worried we were just going to leave this poor girl out in the field, thought we'd go ahead and make a quick update video. She is up at the shop and has got new brakes. The engine bay's been cleaned out here. Gave everything a good wash. New master cylinder. Everything just to make it drivable again, and show that we've done our best to improve her. Yeah, we even got the interior all cleaned out here. Got a lot of rust in the floor, unfortunately, but you know, what can you do? Go ahead and cold start this piece. Shouldn't use the word piece. This truck is too nice for such words. 2 pumps for safety. And there you go. She runs. Good oil pressure. Brake warning lights on this morning. Not sure quite what's up with that. This truck runs way too good for something that sat in a field for 15 years or however long it was. So, I thought that would make a pretty neat little video. So, right now, the plan with this old piece is pretty much just to probably sell as is, just because we don't have the time to get to it. So, you know, if anyone's interested in buying a truck, should give us a holler.
'68 Toronado 455. This is a upcoming project, and we haven't messed with it because it has a lot of blow-by, which we'll see in a second. Because cylinder number 5, right?
Yeah.
Number 5 has a grand total of 25 psi of compression. The rest of them are pretty good, but 5 is a dead player. So until there's time to mess with it, it's just gonna keep hanging out here. But it does run. It did run. It gets worse when it warms up. Do it one more time? Yeah, okay. It smokes a bit. It's been sitting for a minute. It's been sitting for at least a year, maybe a year and a half. Oh my goodness.
So the throttle got a bit stuck there.
I saw that.
Interestingly.
That was exciting.
Yeah, that was exciting.
It's got a little bit of rust. Badass gauge clusters. Look at. Does the radio work in this one?
No, it doesn't.
No, darn.
I mean, I think it does, but I can't hear the speakers, so.
It's got a clock.
This is the coolest car ever made.
No, it's cool. We got a free Vega. It was a parts car. It has no title. It has pretty extensive rust there and everything else.
Very extensive rust. This one's kind of in the same boat as the Nova.
The glass is pretty... If you slammed the door, the glass would probably come out of the back of it because the trim is about all that's holding it because it's all rotted.
It's hard to tell without opening the trunk, but it is horrific under there. There's so much rot. And so...
And it has no motor.
She's going to become a drag car. I've already started cutting out the floor to fit the 5.3 LS and turbo that's going to go in this turd.
Yeah. We were trying to be different from everybody else.
Yeah, do something totally different. New thing. Never been done on YouTube. Turbo 5.3. Never happened. Never happened.
Well, that pretty much rounds out the major projects that have been shown here. Like I said earlier, this was supposed to be one of those 1K specials, but the channel kept climbing to what is almost 1,700 now. But anyways, I just want to say thank you to those who have interacted with the videos and those who actually made it this far in this video. I especially appreciate the comments, as they've been quite positive. And over the summer, I tried to have a video out every week or two, but as of recording this, I'm about to begin another semester of attempting to earn an engineering degree. So I'm going to spread out the videos I still have to about one a month. So anyways, that's that as of now. Thanks again. Take care.